Hello, I think what's happened tonight is the Conservative Party have crossed the Rubicon. I wish in many ways it hadn't happened because I don't think a proper successor to Boris is yet available, has yet been tried, has yet been prepared for proper office. I have an awful fear that what we're going to get is uh, one of the less injured members of the current cabinet, one of the less stained members of the current cabinet, but one nevertheless admired in sleaze and controversy and linked, at least in some form, with Partygate. That will undermine whatever they try and do. As Chris Bryant has just said, every single one who defends the failings identified in the Sue Gray report will face this again and again. That means every single one of those people sitting on the front bench next to Boris is tarred, is smeared with this story. Every single one of them. Sue Gray said it is not possible at present to provide a meaningful report. Why not? Because of Cressida Dick. It's just astonishing. And there's been such an effort to hide, and not to do the honourable thing. And Boris, as I said the other day, I've been saying for some time, Boris is on his last legs politically. And he has an opportunity now to do a few good things before he goes, and he's not taking that opportunity. He thinks that he can rescue himself. He cannot. He is a dead man walking and nothing more. So it's not possible at present to provide a meaningful report. It may no longer be necessary. I think the decision has been made. And as you looked around the chamber, as that sort of impromptu Prime Minister's questions took place today, you suddenly saw the backbench Tory MPs digging Boris's grave. And no one did it with more style and more eloquence, I think, today than Aaron Bell. And Aaron Bell asked the question. I'm going to ask this question twice, I think. I'm going to tell you what the question was, and then I'm going to put it in the context. He says, "Does the Prime Minister think I'm a fool?" And this is the MP for Newcastle under Lyme. And he told the story how there have been a number of parties, a number of events during 2020. And he went to one. That was his grandmother's funeral. And he looked quite emotional by the time he got to the end of this story. And why not? And he explained how his grandmother had been a pillar of the local community and a Conservative councillor. She had been loyally a member of the Dartford Conservative Association. So this was not simply his grandmother, this was somebody who was absolutely linked to the Conservative movement. And she did the right thing, and then he did the right thing. He travelled from Staffordshire to Kent. He drove for 3 hours. He didn't hug any siblings. He gave his eulogy. He didn't hug his parents. He didn't have tea. He got back in the car and drove another 3 hours from Kent to Staffordshire. And he then asked the Prime Minister, "Does the Prime Minister think I'm a fool?" Because he kept the rules. And the Prime Minister said, "No, I want to thank him and to say how deeply I sympathise. And all I can say," says the Prime Minister, "all I can say is I'm very, very sorry for misjudgments that may have been made by me." Misjudgment. Somehow he slipped into something that approached a genuine apology and a genuine admission of guilt. Misjudgments that may have been made by me or anyone else in number 10, he says very quickly, or the Cabinet Office. I don't think it's the Prime Minister's admission which is going to destroy him now. I think it's the fact that the backbenchers realised Boris had misjudged the entire situation. Boris misjudged the mood of Parliament. I can't imagine why he was so stupid. I imagine, well, maybe he was getting advice from the same twits that had been advising him throughout the pandemic and encouraged him to have all these parties. Twits who are now busy defending him. Some of these twits I've mentioned again and again and again because I've been dealing with some of them. I've been trying to get some of them to respond to letters and emails that I've been writing on an entirely different matter. On an entirely different matter. And they just cannot be bothered to do their job. And it's really sad. Really, really sad. I mean, top of the list is Nadine Dorries. A complete waste of space, really. And I suppose when Boris is forced to resign, she will be dumped as well. So I will probably have to start the whole process of writing to the digital, what is it? Digital media, culture and sport. Digital culture, media and so I have no idea what that acronym means or what that acronym is. I have enough difficulty with acronyms anyway. That's why that's one of the reasons I was told I went on the circle, to try and learn about acronyms. Well, it didn't work very well, but there we are. Nor is government working very well at the moment. I'm so sorry. Today should have been a day which was dedicated to Boris reporting back to Parliament about his conversation with President Putin. It has been completely eclipsed by this nonsense and by the cack-handed way in which he's handled the problem. This didn't need to go like this at all. I'm really rather ashamed and disappointed in him. Ashamed of and disappointed in, I think is the correct expression. Ashamed of and disappointed in Boris. I expected a little more. I expected somebody who was going to unify his party and unify the country in the same way that he managed to appeal across party divides when he was Mayor of London. Actually, he's managed to divide his own party. It's shameful. Shameful. But there we are.